Ah, I need better lighting, I guess. Wow, so I left off with infatuation and resentment last video, and I have to say that I have been through a world of self-exploration these days, and I came across this word, authenticity. And I've heard people say it before, but I never really knew sort of what it meant to me, and I had some brushes with some certain people, I guess, that really had me analyzing and questioning the word authenticity. And now I think I finally get it, and it has been a very heart-opening. Usually everything I do is mind-opening and expanding the mind, and all that. But no, I finally found like a really big missing part of myself, and instead of constantly posting someone else's perspective or their pictures on my newsfeed on Facebook, I figured I would just put that all together and share what I've been doing, I guess, with myself recently. So to the point, when we have this infatuation, and which side was I on last time? Infatuation, resentment? Yeah, I think that was it. When we have these infatuations and these resentments, we also have them towards ourselves, and they're often adopted by people that we idolize or people that we infatuate with, basically. So once we infatuate with them, we take on their values, we take on their standpoints, we take on their perspectives even. We take on a piece of them, basically, that tends to overpower, because we've put them so high and us so low that it'll tend to overpower and compound our own journey. It'll complicate things, basically. And so to get to the point and to really simplify what it is that we're here for, or at least what I believe that I'm here for, to find that peace of heart, rather than this time the peace of mind, to discover who we are. I've finally, for now, because I always move in and out of these states of presence, for now I've found freedom in finally releasing the expectations from all the people that I've ever admired, actually, or that I've injected their values onto me. And I thought it was about finding my values, and I thought it was about, building a personality, because our personality is nothing more than a culmination of all the things we've ever experienced in our lives expressed as an action. So they say, he's got a great personality. That just means everything he's experienced so far, your experience of that, you happen to like. So far. Give it some time. And so when I finally thought about it, I was like, okay, whose life am I really living? And if I am living authentically to who I truly am on the inside, why am I running into these different spots of like massive resistance? And the thing is you can only go so far on someone else's path before life sort of steps in and attempts to readjust your course to remain authentic to yourself. And yeah, so once I started realizing that there's pieces of me that's living my dad's life, there's pieces of me that's living a couple of my friends' life, there's pieces of me that are all over the place, basically, running 1,000 different paths at once, and then there's me in the middle going, who am I? Am I that? No, yeah, I don't know, maybe, I like it, I don't like it, and I just, like, I'm thinking of my last video right now, and how fluid it was for that to come out, and right now, I'm just stunned by myself that I'm having a hard time even getting through my words, which, if anyone knows me, that's typically not an issue. We'll put it that way. So, yeah, having really met this part of myself, this part of my authenticity, I discovered that many people that we encounter are also on that same sort of journey, or there's a piece of that journey in theirs as well. And that's what we're all here for. We're all here to provide a different way of looking at things in hopes that it's delivered and accepted in a way that brings you closer to finding your source of inner love. And we often, when we infatuate, they bring us something, which is usually in the form of resentment, if we're not watchful enough, if we're not mindful enough, to enlighten us, to bring us into that state of balance and going, you know what, it's not that great and it's not that bad, and how that pertains to me is a missing piece of the authenticity that I'm looking to express. So I've been like in this head game for years trying to mentalize what authenticity was to me without even knowing the word. It didn't even cross my mind, and that's not just a play on words. It really didn't cross my mind that all this time I've been searching for my authenticity, and I've been living it, but expressing it in the ways that have not been authentic. That's the paradox that exists, is that we're always looking for another way to get it out there in a way that makes most sense to me and you. And then we get infatuated with our environment, we get infatuated with our ideas, we get infatuated with our feelings, and the moment we get high up on ourselves, even, it's not just people that place us up there, but we can do it to ourselves as well. We're missing the other half. We stop being, fully authentic. We're never not authentic when you think about it, but it's always this growing, refining experience of authenticity that is wishing to come through. And so, this is really new to me. I haven't really mentalized this, and I don't think I ever will, and I kind of don't want to. It's been very eye-opening, and it allowed me to forgive myself and to forgive everyone in my life for what may or may not have been right or wrong, because it isn't right or wrong. It's just a matter of bringing you into balance. So if someone pisses you off, you must have been self-righteous at some point, or you're denying that you exist in that form, or you don't have the same or related angers to them. So for me, the authenticity comes from, if you're extremely pissed off at me, there's two things happening at least right now. Number one, you're in a state of anger. Number two, you're reflecting an uncovered anger of mine. And what we get caught up in is people want to talk about the things, the forms that triggered the anger, rather than talking about the source of the anger. Most of the times, I'm starting to come to this understanding in my life, that we are angry because we're angry. It sounds so stupid because it's not in the mind of shapes and forms and reason. It's just obvious. You're angry because you're angry. What is that anger? What meaning does that anger have to you? Not why. Not yet. Maybe we need to talk about that when we get there. But you can't mentalize your emotions down inward. If the emotion is being expressed, it has to be worked from the inside out. Imagine that. I didn't. I keep thinking I'm this intelligent thing that is able to learn all things and get it immediately, and I keep stumbling across these retarded simplicities that just blow my fucking mind. Like, wow, okay, if I feel that way, it's obviously not coming in from here, it's coming out. So, it's an expression with reason, but first it's an expression. So, what are you angry about? Okay, that triggered the anger. Where is this anger coming from? What meaning are you assigning to the expression of this emotion? Is that meaning authentic to who you actually are? If you are angry about something, it's usually because you're denying that you have the same capacity to be this light and shadow being. I'm not angry, I'm not mean, I'm not this, I'm not throwing everything into that bottomless shadowy pit, and eventually it's not bottomless, it fills up, and then someone will come along and go poke, and then poof, it all comes out. and you say it's because you poked me. Oh, no. If you didn't have that emotion in you in the first place when I poked you, it wouldn't have surfaced. You have to be in possession of that emotion first before it can be triggered. So I was afraid to be honest with people because I was constantly allowing myself to be blamed for the emotional states and reactions of the people around me. But instead of flipping off into an extreme of like, oh, now that I know for sure in my authentic being that I am not responsible for your emotional reaction or your content, that would make me an asshole. I'm not going that far. I'll say, hey, you know what? Even though I'm not responsible for that, I have somehow welcomed that into my experience. So I'm not responsible, but I share it with you. I share your anger in this moment. I share your resentment in this moment. I sometimes might even share your infatuations in this moment. That's what the color of life is. It's these emotions that are coming up in the process of healing towards our death, because that's what's coming anyway. So the whole point is to heal the body and to maximize our experience, and not to get caught up in the shape and form of what you believe the meaning of maximum is. Can you imagine that? That blew my mind too. I thought maximizing my life meant mirroring and imitating my idols or my role models or my concepts that I was even infatuated with. I literally thought, like, to be as big as I need to be in my life, I need to take the biggest things around me and be just like them. That is not entirely true. I don't need to be big just like them. I see them in my life. I see how big they are because I'm an equal vibratory match. I could not see it if I wasn't it. So here I am spending all this time trying to become something, and really I'm just being myself. Ding, you know? It drives me insane. I can only laugh at myself. I'm like, wow, I really wanted to be that, and I didn't realize the reason why I was seeing it is because I already am. I really want to be that, but I already am. I don't like being that. Well, you still are. You cannot perceive something in your reality if you don't own a piece of that already. And the trouble that I'm having with relating with people is that first I didn't realize that in its entirety. I got it to a point, but I wasn't feeling it. That's another weird thing. I've somehow finally escaped a part of my mind, and I'm more into the body now. For this moment, until somebody else pisses me off, I guess. But yeah. And then once you find it in yourself, you see it everywhere else, and you see that people are just talking shapes and forms and ideas and concepts, and with no meaning or feeling behind it. And I found it so frustrating, and I never realized that I was exactly doing the same thing in my way. And I thought my way was cool because I understood it. But it wasn't cool. It was just as shallow and meaningless as everything else I experienced. That, in most cases, would have destroyed me. I would have been like, I failed again. But I don't have that meaning anymore. The meaning is now, wow, I've transcended again. I didn't fail, I just realized another part of me. There's another piece of this life puzzle that is infinitely long and never going to be finished anyway, that's coming in and painting another part of my picture. And the purpose, another thing we're missing sometimes, is a purpose. You cannot have a purpose without an expression that doesn't have an intention. If you have no intentions that are linked through your expressions towards a purpose, that's where people get the feelings of a meaningless life. And they don't realize that it's not meaningless, they just have not assigned a meaning by recognizing the recognizing the attention, that's good too. Recognizing the intention, or creating one even, for a specific purpose that is in line with their highest values. And if you don't know what your values are, you don't know what the purpose is, so you don't know how to express your intention. Welcome to a meaningless life, a purposeless life, a non-valuable life. Welcome to nothing. And you wonder why you get nothing in your life, because you're literally doing nothing. You might be living and painting and listening to music and drawing and writing, but it's pointless, it's meaningless, and it's purposeless because you don't know what the value is, you don't know how to express that value in a loving, authentic matter? What am I, a scientist today? Jesus. And you don't have an intention behind it. So you're wasting time in that way, but that time spent will bring you value. If you continue, eventually you'll get tired of feeling purposeless, and you'll go find a purpose. All of this stuff, I know this video is running a bit long, but all of this stuff just like slammed on me. This is my thinking hat, just in case you're wondering. It just slammed on me. It got me, and these past 2 weeks, I've just in a steady flood of realization, and each realization, a piece of my mind is wiped out, until finally something's like, what's left? Before, I used to fall into these states of depression, of the nothingness of what's left. But this time, the brain and thoughts and noise moved out of the way, and what was left was my authentic self. Finally. For now, because I know it's gonna drift in and out of these states of knowing and unknowing. So I'm just trying to capture the realization right now, just in case I forget. I can come back and watch this. So, if you don't know who you are, that's okay. You're living who you are. If you're not grateful for your life right now, that is okay as well. What you are ungrateful for, you will give away, you will lose, or it will be taken. So once you've lost everything, and everything has been taken from you, what you will be left with is what's most valuable and what you're most grateful for. That whole spiritual concept of everything is nothing and nothing is everything, and the whole word play of duality, if you've lost it all, you've found it all. You've only lost or transformed the space and the form of what was not valuable to you into the recognition of what is. What is true always remains. That's how you can get a feel for the truth, if it never changes. Gravity, so far, is true. It never changes. Every time I fucking drop my phone, it hits the ground. That's gravity, it's true. And so you'll find out that as long as you stay alive, you have to, if you're going through that hard part where living doesn't necessarily seem like a great idea, keep going. And you'll lose more, and you'll lose more, and you'll lose more, and you'll give away more, and you'll transform more, and then you'll, why am I doing this? Why? And then you'll look up one day and it'll go, I have everything I need. I have everything I've ever wanted. I'm with the person I like the most. I have a whole day to just explore myself. I have a whole day to express myself. I have an eternity now and the rest of my life to continue to experience more moments like these. Wow, and then who am I? What do I need? What do I want? We don't choose things. We don't choose things. You don't choose to buy a specific item. We don't choose things. We don't choose partners. We don't say, I want to be with that person. That's not what we're getting. That's not what we're after. That's not, or at least me, that's what I've noticed. I look at people and I go, I want to experience that. Or that's not really an experience I'm ready for. But maybe, sometimes I choose experiences that don't necessarily look great to other people's opinions and their perspective. Why would you choose that? Because I know deep down inside that challenge, there's a value greater than anything that could ever be found on my own that way. I can't experience conflict in an argument with what appears to be a separate entity. I can't be less intimate with that personal problem of mine without the help of somebody else. Sometimes I need to do it from a distance. And sometimes I need to just, you know what, you be really far away so I can go in here and get really close to the problem. You know, so we don't choose things. We don't choose careers. We don't choose people. We don't choose ideas. We're all here merely choosing experiences. That's all you're getting when you think about it. That's all you're getting is an experience. If you think anything bigger than that, that's the brain talking. That's the thought process. But we're choosing an experience. That looks like a good idea, or not. I would like to experience that, or not. What will I gain from that experience? And if you value the self-expansion and self-exploration of your life, that aspect, you will choose experiences that expand that. And who cares what form they present themselves in? If I want to go wreck myself to find the indestructible part that I know is inside me, because I know how valuable it is to find myself, then that's what I'm going to do. Don't judge me based on what you expected, and don't resent based on what you expected, and say, how was that experience? What are you finding from that? What are you learning from that? How are you applying that? And I've been so afraid to just live my life and chase and grab and ignore and whatever for the experience of just trying it. What can I learn from this? I'm not going to take it seriously. I could hate everything and eventually I'll be dead and it won't matter. So why hate it in the meantime when I can just love it and smile? Why choose any form of a polarized, one-sided negativity when I'm going to be dead soon, sooner than most people think, because it always comes as a surprise. So it's always going to be too soon. I'm always going to, when I die, it's going to be too soon. And when other people die, it usually is. Wow, didn't see that coming. It was an accident. It was too soon. He wasn't ready. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, it's always going to be too soon. So if I don't know how soon too soon is, I might as well choose experiences that allow me to die with a smile on my face and allow me to rest in peace knowing that I've given the highest expressions of love I was capable of in the time of the experience. If it's not as big as you wanted it, well, you know what? Don't expect. You learned something from me. And if it's way bigger than you expected, then just be prepared that I'm probably gonna get a little self-righteous and be like, hey, I did all this for you, and where's the equal exchange, you know? So it's two sides. You always get both sides. Be authentic to yourself, realize where the sides are, and if you have nothing to do with your time that you can find purpose for, that is a clear indication to spend your time finding your purpose. You see what if you have, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? If it was meaningful for you, you wouldn't have to question why you're doing it. If you're looking at all these areas of your life and wondering why, you are in the unexplored areas of your life, which means you're doing this to figure out what it is in you need to do. By your authentic, true self. Why am I here? Why is this? This brain, it needs that security. It needs something to grasp onto. It needs a form. But just annihilate it. Why? Because you don't know. And let's choose an experience. Maybe we'll figure out a part of why. Let's choose a new experience. That person, I don't know what they're for or what their purpose is. So let's go just see what happens when we come in contact with each other. Maybe I'll learn something. Maybe I'll find out why, or a part of the why. I don't know. Live your life, and what that means is whatever it means to you. Your life. Not my life, not my expectations, not my opinions, because I'm not enlightened. I'm still human and I have my judgments and my criticisms, and I take that with me and I work on that. That's my life. And I'm doing my best to love each and every person within every interaction I have to the best of my current ability. And if it's not up to your standard, either your standards are too high or you haven't found the love in you that you can connect with in me, and I'm just reflecting that back to you. That's how these things work. And even if you don't believe that's how it works, if you try it, I'm 99,000% sure that you'll end up with an understanding of very, very similar experiences. So, I talked for 25 minutes, holy fuck, that went fast, and I hope you enjoyed watching me love myself, because that's what this is. Let's continue loving ourselves.